Did you know that new construction homes are offering lower interest rates and better financing than what you can mostly get for resale properties in the current market, making them very tough competition for anyone trying to resell your home? And with that, buyers are expecting turnkey properties from new construction, but also comparatively in resale. If you're thinking about selling your property, you need a very detailed strategy on how to approach the market. So let's break down what you need to know if you're looking to resell your home in the next 12 months. Hi everyone, I'm Lee Calvert, a real estate agent in North Texas. And today we're going to be going through the things that you need to know when considering reselling your house in the current market. You need a strategy, you need the right presentation, and also you need the right mindset. If you're looking at reselling your home, chances are that you've been in there for about 5 to 10 years. Now, a lot of buyers in the current climate are looking for more turnkey properties and providing more demands for sellers than what they were 3, 4, 5 years ago from now. And with elevated interest rates, new construction is offering a very tough competition for resale properties. They're offering lower interest rates than the general market. They're offering warranties with their builds. They're offering turnkey solutions and upgrades that 5 to 10 year old properties have not kept up with. They're also offering lower insurance barriers because insurance companies are preferring to insure newer properties versus older properties. So as a seller, you need to be making smart choices on how do you draw buyers to your property so you can move. So first things first, we've kind of touched on it a little bit. New construction are offering lower than private market interest rates for buyers. So we're seeing promotional rates in the high 2s and the 3s. You're seeing 30-year mortgage rates in the 4s to the 5s. Whereas at the time of recording this, if you go through a lender for a resale property, you're more in the 6.5 to 7, maybe 8, depending on your credit score. So new construction, you can afford more because of the level of interest rates that they're offering their buyers. And it's because the builders are buying these interest rates down for their buyers to afford the properties. In addition to that, builders are offering generally a 1 to 10 level warranty. So the first year covers most things in the property, as long as it's not damage that the buyers put into the property. Second year generally covers appliances and systems, and then a 10-year structural warranty. Some have done 7 years, most are still doing 10. As a private resale seller, generally you can't, you're not offering those warranties. If you have a property that's less than 10 years old and you still have that in place, possibly check to see if that's a transferable warranty that you can portray in your sale. Also be mindful of insurance. Insurance is a big topic around the country right now, whether you are on the coastal areas or central in the country with hail and tornadoes and storms. Insurance companies are way more favorable on newer properties than older properties, and they're going to start scrutinizing older properties and the hoops you'll have to jump through to do that. So make sure when you're going on the market to be aware of where your property stands at an insurability rate, because your buyer no doubt is going to be checking insurance rates for new and insurance rates for resale, and generally they'll take the path of least resistance. And lastly, with development and builders as a competition, make sure to assess where you are in competition with them. Most sellers, I find, can sometimes think too much in regards to what they need out of a property versus what it's worth in the current market. But if you're competing with new construction, can someone go and buy a new house of a similar size for less money than what you were thinking of put it on for? If they can, likely they will. So make sure to compare where you are in regards to what options there are out there for buyers versus just looking at the sales. 2, buyers expect more but want to spend less. Naturally, we all do. They're looking for turnkey properties for the most part. They're looking for things that they don't have to put further investment in. So if you've got something that you're thinking, gosh, I would likely do that upgrade if I was going to live here for another 5 years, chances are your buyer might be looking to do that immediately. And so they'll be looking for potentially a discount on the price to then put that money into the upgrade later. All these things you're going to want to have a thought about and discussion with your real estate professional when you're approaching the market. On the other side, you still find some buyers that are looking for that sweat equity side of things, where they want to come in and do those upgrades themselves, but they're not going to pay a premium for the property and then do it. They're looking for a deal. They're wanting to lower their expense to then place that cash aspect into upgrading the property so they can then either see a return when they come to sell it in 6, 12, 18, 24 months. If they're looking to live there long term, not as much demand for a lower price, but certainly investors and would-be house flippers are not looking to spend more than what they need to. And on the flip side, sweat equity matters. If you can put something into your house that's going to beautify it or make it better, you will see that return generally when you come to sell it. If you think, again, a buyer is going to want to make this change, make the change for them and you'll get that money back in your sale, likely. Strategic timing on the market is everything. I hear all the time that there's never a bad time to sell in the market, which, to be fair, can be true. Doesn't mean there's not a better time to sell in the market. For example, if you're in a neighborhood or a community where the schools are highly ranked, likely you're going to find that sales are best from April through August. You might see a taper down going into the fall and the winter, but spring and summer are going to be the best times for those sales. And you can see the data and the trends to give you that suggestion when you use a professional to look into that history. So one thing that I do particularly is I review month-on-month history going back 3, 4, 5 years to see those trends. That way, our buyers are advised and counseled on when the best time to enter the market would be. Not just monthly, but particularly what day. Do you go on a Monday? Do you go on a Tuesday or a Wednesday? Personally, for me, I prefer Wednesday and Thursday listings going into a weekend. Because if you have a shorter time on the market, likely you're going to have the better sale. Most people are not shopping Mondays or Tuesdays, so towards the end of the week would make more sense. But at the same time, you might not necessarily want to rush it. If you need some time to do those upgrades and put that sweat equity in, maybe you don't need to get on exactly the right time. Go and do the right thing first so you get the better result later. Again, something to keep in mind. A lot of the times people ask me how the market is for them and they're considering selling the house or have this thought about moving. Well, I just tell you, the market's not the same for everybody. It depends on what you have. Just this week, I met with 2 people in the same community and looking at the product and the lot size and the amenities one had, they had a 91% chance of selling based off the data. Flip that, another homeowner in that community, they only had a 48% chance of selling based off what the data was showing. So the same market, 2 completely different outlooks, depending on what you have in there. So when you're thinking of asking an agent, hey, how's the market? You might want to think about, hey, how's the market when considering what I have? Because what you have is totally relevant to what's going on. Number 4, something that's come around lately for sellers to consider is the list and lock approach. You can actually connect with some lenders prior to going on the market and pay a little bit up front to lock in an interest rate for your buyer. Why would that be appealing for you? It gives you a little bit of an opportunity to compete with builders on the lower interest rates. And you can market that number to buyers when they're looking at your property. So if they're thinking that they're going to be qualifying for a 6.5%, 7% rate, and you're able to offer 5.8, 6, 6.25, that is going to give you a potential edge over not just competing resale properties, but also compete with new construction if you have the better balance of upgrades, lot location, community, as well as interest rate. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video so far. If you're thinking about selling a property and you haven't connected with an agent yet, or you're still interviewing, I really advise you to reach out, head to leecalverttx.com, connect with me, and we'd love to chat to you and run you through the same procedure we do for everyone and finding success in their sale. Or simply fill out the form below and I'll reach out to you directly myself. Number 5, making improvements before you list. Now, there's obviously always prep work that goes in before a listing. Pressure washing the property, cleaning the property, getting a deep clean done, doing some landscaping, updating some countertops, replacing some carpets if you need it. These are all things that really go into pretty much most listings to be ready for a buyer, especially in today's market. But perhaps you don't have the funds available, or you don't want that risk of spending money without having the knowledge of a return coming from a sale. Did you know that Briggs Freeman Sotheby's, the company I'm with, we actually have a company we're partnered with where they will come into the property, decide with you what's needed to be done, make those changes with you, and then they get paid at the closing of the sale. Really, it's a win-win. You get to promote the property at its best, and you're not having to pay that expense until you're closing on your sale. Something that I think is a valuable addition to the package available with the company. 6, staging. Can you move out? Do you have to live in? There's different staging companies out there. So if you're living at home and you really have no opportunity to move, to vacate the property, to fully stage it, there are staging consultants that can tweak things of what you've got in the home, how we present it. A really great thing to do if that's the direction. Alternatively, if you are buying another place before you sell, or you're moving and you've got a rental property, maybe you have a secondary property. If you can move away from the property and present it almost like new construction homes present, you're really providing that equal level experience for that buyer. A lot of buyers always shop new construction. If they're finding the same experience going through your property, but better because you might have more upgrades than what new construction has to offer, then you're giving yourself a leg up to get a better deal and a better result. Did you know professionally staged homes sell quicker and for more money? Something that you really want to consider when debating, should I stage my home? Should I not? Should I live in the home during the sale? Or should I get out of here? Something you don't want to talk about with your agent on what the right approach is to the market. Number 7, handling buyer agent commissions. A lot of discussion went on last year in 2024 about this. So you're going to want to make sure the agent you pick is aware of the changes and guide you on what the best approach is to it. So as a seller, do you have to pay the buyer agent commission? Simple answer, no, you don't. Should you? Should you be prepared to? Yes. A lot of buyers are not in a position to pay their agent, but it depends on what strategy you're doing and how you're approaching the market. How many barriers you want in place to be able to sell your home. These are things you're going to want to discuss with your agent. But simply, if you're fundamentally not wanting to pay the buyer's agent, you are not forced to. The single most important thing when selling your home in 2025, strategic presentation. It seems so simple. The homes that stand out, show well, are accessible, they sell for more money and at a faster pace. Warnings for sellers. If you ignore buyer expectations and current market trends, your property might sit on the market for longer and you're going to lose out on your best sale. But if you strategically position your house and strategically present it well, and you make a few upgrades and do a few changes and get it ready for buyers to go, wow, you're going to make it a much better experience for you on the selling side. It's going to go quicker and you're going to get more money. Are you thinking about selling your house in 2025? Drop me a comment below or fill out the form. We'd love to connect and help you on your way. And if you're just dabbling with the market or you want to learn more, make sure to like and subscribe the page, hit that bell button for a notification, and follow along with the journey of learning about real estate in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.